And there's blood here on this handle, as if somebody gripped it with a bloody hand. Right. Which means that the blood got on the handle from the... Oh, pardon me. From inside the lantern. The restored lantern, there's a bloodstain on the inside wheel handle, as if somebody gripped it with a bloody hand. Do you think the blood got there when the killer was putting the body in the lantern? It's really hard to say at this point. Wait. Are we done? Whew. Well, I think we've checked out everything relevant to this case. What are you two doing here? Wait, what are you doing here? Soren! Oh, his notebook. Soren, shouldn't you be resting in bed? You're injured. How do you know about that? Never mind. My notebook. Have you seen my notebook? I can't find it anywhere. My notebook. I need my notebook. What's the matter with him? My notebook. I have to have... Master Soren. Oh. Master Soren, I told you to stay in bed. My notebook. Well, he becomes... like, panicked. Here you go. Yes, this is it. So Soren gets emotionally unstable without that notebook of his. Phew. Looks like he's calmed down now. Soren, do you mind if I talk to you for a minute? I cannot allow you to do that. What if his wound were to open up again? He needs to rest. I guess you're right. Now, if you'll excuse us. Master Soren, let us retire. Oh wow, it's not often that we see that. Yeah, the two character models next to one another. That becomes incredibly common in the Great Ace Attorney. Alright. And the only other time we actually saw it was in the investigation games. There they go. Pierce is right. I guess he really isn't in any condition to be questioned. Well, let's go back to the agency and sort through what we've learned. Okay. Da-dum. Ba-da-da-da-bum, bum, bum. September 22nd. We're back. Anybody here? Oh, hi, boss. Athena. I thought you were with Trucy. I guess you could say that I'm taking a short break. But enough about me. What about the investigation? Did you find anything? Or find out anything? Well, turns out that the third person Ellen says she saw at the crime scene might have been Soren Sprocket. What? Really? I always thought he seemed suspicious. Thing is, by the time Soren got to the Vista deck, the murder had already occurred, apparently. No way. I don't buy that. Not for a second. It's a cover-up. A cover-up, I tell you. That's certainly a possibility. And as a lawyer, it's certainly a possibility I have to pursue, but... But what? It's your job, right? So pursue the heck out of it. I actually said out if it. It's a small typo. Just do it. Yeah, but... Is that really what's best for Ellen? Soren could be found guilty if the truth comes out tomorrow. But if we don't pursue this possibility, Ellen could be found guilty instead. Oh man. Either way, it sure doesn't spell out happily ever after for the two of them. So what are you gonna do, Mr. Wright? I can't let an innocent person get convicted. So I guess all I can really do is pursue the truth. Even if it ends up devastating Ellen. What a tough call to make. Still, there's always a chance, right? Maybe something will come up during the trial and that will save their marriage. I hope so. I really do. Well, Maya, let's go. Break the news to Ellen, you mean? Yep. Mr. Wright, please take me with you. I bet I could help you cancel Ellen through this piece of bad news. Athena, I appreciate the offer, but don't you have somewhere else to be? Do I? Athena, what are you doing here? I've been looking all over for you. Come on now, let's get back to practicing. No, wait. My body can't take it anymore. Boss, you gotta help me. A lawyer always keeps their promises, Athena. But boss... If you bail on me one more time, Athena, I'm going to use a real blade on you. Wow, one hell of a threat. Sorry, Athena, but somebody's gotta do it. Better you than me, though. Hang in there, kiddo. Come on, Maya. We better get going. Hey, it's her theme! Oh man, we haven't heard this much. All that much. It's a really good song. Alright. Ellen! She's gonna cry. Shoot. Can't be helped. Visitor's room. Hello, Ellen. How did your investigation go, Mr. Wright? Before I answer that, I need to ask you something. Was Soren with you when Mr. Gloomsbury attacked you in the reception hall? I'm sorry I kept it from you. I was afraid that he'd come under suspicion if I told you. So I kept quiet about it. I'm really sorry. I see. I thought it was probably something like that. Listen, Ellen, I'm afraid I had to make a very difficult decision based on what I found out. What kind of decision? This is very hard for me to say, but the mysterious person you saw at the scene of the crime was most likely Soren. What? In other words, in court tomorrow, I'm afraid I'll have to propose the possibility that Soren is the true culprit. Even if it's not true. No, Soren is innocent. No. But don't you see? If I don't try to pursue that line of thought, you'll be found guilty. No, no. Please, Ellen, calm down. God damn. Soren just can't be found guilty. I'd much rather I be found guilty instead. Ellen, you can't let yourself think like that. But, no. Marriage is for life, right? Do you really think you can run away from the truth and still be truly happy with him? You're not married, so how can you possibly understand? Sometimes you've just got to do whatever it takes to make things work. But... Nick, you talk to her. Hey, don't just dump this all on me. Mr. Wright, I'm innocent and Soren is too. So please, prove our innocence in court. I'll certainly do everything in my power. I just hope she doesn't lose control like this in court tomorrow. My god. She's got some really bizarre animations, that's for sure. To be continued? Really? Holy shit, that was quick. Crap. Most definitely was not expecting that so soon. Jesus. Yeah, it's only been an hour and a half. An hour and a quarter. So that was only 75 minutes. Not bad. Which means this is probably going to be 2.5 hours if I had to guess. Which makes the entire case 5.5 hours. Near enough. Which, yeah, is like half of the length, not even half of the length of case 5. That thing was huge. I think it was like a 14-hour case. So the one thing we found out yesterday is that Soren was there at the crime scene. I only hope I can get some testimony from him that will get to the heart of the matter. Mr. Wright. Good morning, Ellen. Look, I'm afraid you might not like the result of today's trial. Nevertheless, don't tell me you're still thinking of going that route. Soren is innocent. He can't be found guilty. Take me instead. Ellen, please. Try and get a hold of yourself. Oh god, no. Okay, good. I believe in Soren with all my heart. So how dare you doubt him? Oh. She left. Regardless of which one of them is found guilty today, it's going to be devastating for Ellen, isn't it? We'll just have to do everything we can. That's the best we can do, you know? The trial is about to begin, Mr. Wright. Alright. Let's go, Maya. Yeah. I can't believe it. It just didn't take long to get to this. It's just surprising. Number 6. Day 2. There's Edgeworth. It's weird though, he doesn't wear glasses in court, but he wears them everywhere else. Court is back in session for the trial of Ellen Wyatt. The defence is ready, Your Honour. The prosecution is ready, Your Honour. Let's see now. Where were we? In yesterday's session, we found out about the Sprocket family's conspiracy to cover up the murder of dumbass Gloomsbury with a second reception. taking advantage of our collective shock, the defense, as usual, made a nonsensical claim. Namely, that there was a third person present who struck the victim. Hey, don't try to make it sound like I made it all up. The defendant herself made a statement about the existence of a third person, and further investigation has only proven her statement to be true. Then I presume the defense intends to focus on proving the identity of this third person. Is that alright with you, Mr. Edgeworth? Indeed, Your Honour. In fact, I predict that the defense will most likely attempt to name Mr. Soren Sprocket as the true culprit. How did you... The driver during the accident that killed Mr. Sprocket's sister was the victim. Therefore, Mr. Sprocket had a motive to murder Mr. Gloomsbury. That's what you plan to assert, is it not, Mr. Wright? Am I that transparent? Come now, Mr. Wright, did you really think the police wouldn't uncover this information? Congrats on getting it in one, Mr. Edgeworth. Hold it. But, this is going to be Ellen. You're wrong, Soren didn't do it. He's innocent. Miss Wyatt, please. He's innocent, I tell you. What is this, Mr. Wright? I thought your claim about the existence of a third person came from the defendant. It did. This is just a minor hiccup. Did you not discuss your strategy for today with the defendant, Mr. Wright? Starting off on the wrong foot again is seriously cutting into my lifespan. It would appear that the defense is in disarray. Therefore, the best way to clear things up is to ask Mr. Sprocket himself what happened. Your Honour, the prosecution would like to call Soren Sprocket to the stand. What? Very well. Bailiff, please bring Mr. Sprocket to the witness stand. Oh, there he is. Nice shoes. Okay. I have a feeling cross-examining this guy is going to be a nuisance. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Oh no. Yeah, that's why I thought. Wait. Is he really? There's something written on this paper airplane. Let's see. Soren Sprocket, Managing Director of Sprocket Aviation. Mr. Sprocket, please give your answers in words, not paper airplanes. Now then, Mr. Sprocket. Please tell that doubting lawyer there what really happened at the time of the crime. Well, Mr. Sprocket? Oh dear. Mr. Sprocket. Alright. You want me to talk about what happened when the crime occurred? In other words, after the first wedding reception. When Ellen and I were in the reception hall, right? Not even the power of the court can stop him from marching to the beat of his own drum. Jeez. What Soren remembers. I was stabbed by Dumbass in the reception hall and I collapsed to the floor. The next thing I saw was Ellen and Dumbass on the Vista deck. I knew Ellen was in danger, so I headed for the Vista deck. But when I got there, Dumbass was already... I don't want to believe it, but it must have been Ellen. Nothing else makes sense. Ooh, not good. Wait just a minute here. You actually think Miss Wyatt killed the victim? That's right. Dumbass was killed by Ellen. This is unbelievable. How can you suspect your bride, the woman you love?
Objection!
Oh, screw off, Edgeworth. The truth can be cruel. Miss Wyatt, you must be very upset. Is there anything you wish to say? Oh god. No. I can't believe this. Soren. I thought that at least you would believe in me. The best way now to show your love for your groom is to admit your guilt and try to atone. Soren. Whoa. Mr. Edgeworth, I haven't even cross-examined the witness yet. Quit picking on the clearly distraught. Yeah, that's not cool, Mr. Edgeworth. The court is where we seek the truth. and the truth is unyielding, even to the truly pitiful. Mr. Edgeworth, I find it distasteful to make a lady cry. Ooh. Et tu, Brute. So what are you gonna do, Nick? The third person Ellen saw on the Vista deck was Soren. Then we have to prove Soren was there at the time of the murder. I don't see any obvious inconsistencies in his testimony, but we have to push forward. Oh boy. Cross-examination. What Soren remembers. So I was stabbed by Dumas in the reception hall and I collapsed to the floor. I know his name is probably Dumas, but I can't help but call him Dumbass. I know it probably ruins his name, but yeah, whatever. Please tell me everything you can about when you got stabbed. After the reception, Ellen and I were enjoying a moment alone in the reception hall. Then Dumas appeared and stabbed me. He grabbed Ellen and the timekeeper and left the reception hall. Did Mr. Gloomsbury say anything at that time? I don't remember. After I was stabbed, I was immobilized by the pain. I see. The next thing I saw was Ellen and Dumas on the Vista deck. Oh shh. I was meant to press, but I just clicked. My bad. So saw them on the Vista deck. The Vista deck, huh? But it was nighttime then. Could you really see them in the darkness? The moon was out, so I could see them clearly. From the looks of it, Dumas was trying to push Ellen and the timekeeper off the side. So you saw the defendant. About to be thrown off the airship, you say? That's right. In such a desperate situation, it would only be natural for her to fight for her life. And the murder weapon was right there within her grasp. Ugh, this isn't going well at all. I've got to do something, fast. Bum. I knew Ellen was in danger, so I headed for the Vista deck. I almost clicked again. There we go. Phew. I understand that your bride was in danger, but... were you really able to move with a stab wound to the gut? I was desperately trying to push the pain out of my mind. I see, so adrenaline kicked in and gave you strength, is that right? I don't see much of anything in this statement I can refute. That's right. I almost passed out several times as I made my way to the Vista deck. But when I got there, Dumas was already... Are you absolutely sure, Mr. Sprocket? That by the time you got to the Vista deck, the murder had already been committed? Yes. But the Vista deck is just on the other side of the glass windows in the reception hall. Shouldn't you have been able to get there right away? Bum. Mr. Wright, have you investigated nothing? Oh, really? That's stupid. The only way to the Vista deck is to go to the hold and take the lift. That's dumb. No matter how much one hurries, it would take at least 10 minutes. Ooh, that's a 10-minute gap. Well, that's unhelpful. Not necessarily. But Soren had to have gotten there before the murder, or my claim won't stand. Do you have any idea for me, Maya? It's definitely easier to prove that someone did go to the hold than not. I mean, you can't leave anything if you don't go someplace, right? Can't leave anything. Wait a minute. I think Maya is onto something here. The lack of a certain something actually proves that Soren didn't go to the hold. What's the matter? Are you stumped already? No, I'm far from stumped, Mr. Edgeworth. I know for a fact that Mr. Sprocket didn't go to the hold. You and your paper-thin bluffs. Mr. Sprocket's bloodstain on the left proves he went through the hold. So what possible proof could you have that he did not, in fact, go through there? You want proof? You got it. You can do this, Phoenix. There's gotta be proof that Soren didn't go through the hold. Well, Mr. Wright? This proves that Mr. Sprocket didn't go through the hold. I mean, the logical thing would be the hold entry thing, but I'm pretty sure Soren's name's on it, is it not? Dumbass. Oh. P.S. and Ellen. Oh, never mind. Easy enough. As anyone can see from the hold entry record, there's absolutely no mention of Soren Sprocket entering the hold. The defense asserts that Mr. Sprocket used a different route to get to the visitor deck. You can assert all you want, Mr. Wright, but can you actually prove another route exists? Can I prove the existence of another route to the visitor deck, you ask? Oh, I would say no. Not yet. Well, now that I really think about it, I guess it's going to be hard to prove. But I can't back down now. The trial will be over if I do. There's only one thing I can do at a time like this. I can prove it. Oh, I suppose I should have just chose the top one. Even if it's just a bluff, I have to present something. Anything that could prove the existence of a faster route to the Vista deck. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Oh god. Show us how Mr. Sprocket got to the Vista deck. Really? Mr. Sprocket made for the Vista deck through here. The door. Yeah, okay, this is probable. Sheesh. To save his bride from danger, Mr. Sprocket opened the escape hatch and made his way alongside the outside wall to the Vista deck. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? That would certainly be a much faster route to the Vista deck. How disappointed, Mr. Wright. Is that really the best you could muster? That escape hatch is not meant to be used to get from the reception hall to the Vista deck. One slip and that's all it would take for Mr. Sprocket to plunge to his death. I have to agree. The defense's claim is really stretching it. I understand how it sounds, Your Honor. But at this point, it's too early to definitely say that he didn't go that way. So that's what you're going with then, I take it? Of course, Your Honor. This is real life, Mr. Wright, not some cinematic drivel or comic book. Do you have some sort of logical explanation to share that would convince us of your claim? I do. Are you sure, Nick? Kind of. Actually, I have nothing. So I'll just have to wing it somehow. On what do you base your theory that Mr. Sprocket made his way along the outside? My theory that he was able to go along the outside of the wall despite the danger is based on... Oh my god, really? The power of love. It's the only one that makes sense. Out of all three, to save the bride he loves, the Grim risked his life and rushed to her side. Mr. Sprocket was able to make it to the Vista deck despite the danger. Because of the power of love. The power of love? The judge will be on our side, you're like, yeah! That love is a source of strength that can help one overcome any obstacle. I think I can relate, thanks to my own long, happy marriage. Wow, he actually seems to be buying it. I knew Edgeworth wouldn't. The power of love, you say? That kind of illogical argument is hardly viable in a court of law. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? I disagree. I'm afraid not, Mr. Edgeworth. You should never underestimate the power of love. You'll understand one day when you get mad... Which I won't. Exactly what is so wrong with wishing to remain unwed? Well, you set him off, Your Honor. Never mind all this unscientific nonsense. Are you aware, Mr. Wright, that at the time of the crime... Whoa. There was a huge propeller turning at full speed between the hatch and the Vista deck. Even if a person were to go outside through the hatch... they'd be blown away in an instant. Uh-oh. Where does your power of love get you now, Mr. Wright? A huge spinning propeller, you say? In that case, I have to admit it does seem impossible. I should have known. Nick, you can't make that kind of face in front of your client. The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. Right? Right. I feel like I just saw Mia looking out at me through Maya's eyes. What's wrong, Nick? Why are you gaping at me like a giant sunfish? Thank you, Maya. You just helped me remember something really important. There it is. There's that fearless smile I was looking for. That gives a mind-blowing theory, just like you always do. I have to turn my thinking around. Instead of wondering how Soren could have moved past that huge propeller, I have to think about what would have made it possible for him to do so. Your Honor, Mr. Wright only makes that ridiculous face when his back is pressed against the wall. Therefore, please do hurry and give your ruling before... before he says anything. Mr. Edgeworth, it's still far too early to discount my theory. What are you talking about? The airship's large spinning propellers have already shredded it to pieces. But if we think a little more outside the box, I'm sure we can find a way he could have made it. Stop trying to stall, Mr. Wright, and show us how it could have been even remotely possible, if at all. I must agree with Mr. Edgeworth. Very well, Your Honor. There must have been a way. Some way that Soren could have moved along the wall in spite of the propeller. Now then, Mr. Wright. What specifically would have made it possible? This is how it would have been possible for Mr. Sprocket to get to the Vista deck. The airship wasn't flying, the propellers were broken. Ooh. He got to the deck some other way. I mean, the only way it would have been possible is if the airship wasn't flying. Because the propellers wouldn't have been moving. What allowed Mr. Sprocket to go along the outside wall in spite of the propellers is that the location of the flying chapel at the time of the crime. The location of the flying chapel? But wasn't it flying high in the sky? No, Your Honor. I'm afraid it wasn't. What? Then where was it? At the time of the murder, the airship wasn't flying through the sky, but moored to the ground. What? And if the airship wasn't flying, then that means... Yeah, the propellers weren't turning. Ooh. We're onto something. In which case... yeah, he'd have been able to do that. Mr. Sprocket could have gotten to the Vista deck along the outside wall. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? What the fuck? Oh god! I just realised what happened. His thumb has, expanded. I like the noise it made. I don't remember. Ow. He stabbed himself with his pencil. That's gonna leave a mark.
Objection.
Even if the propellers weren't turning, it would have been far too risky to go that way. Ah, but Mr. Edgeworth, you're forgetting about the power of love. Yes, the amazing power of love. Ah, this again. Very well, for the sake of argument, let's assume this so-called power of love made it possible for Mr. Sprocket to move along the outside wall of the airship. Can you prove that the airship was tied to the ground as you claim, Mr. Wright? Well, I don't have any evidence that proves where the airship was at the time. You can prove it, can't you? Maya, can you think of anything we can use to prove it? Can't say I can. Oh wait. Didn't somebody see something outside a window at the time of the crime? I think I remember someone saying as much. Wait, Larry's drawing? Do I have a piece of evidence that shows what was outside the airship? Wait, did he mistake a bird for a pterodactyl? And obviously, if the airship was flying, a bird wouldn't be anywhere near the window. Well, what are you waiting for? This piece of evidence shows what was outside the airship at the time of the crime. That's my idea. I would guess it's because it wasn't flying. This piece of evidence shows what was outside the airship at the time of the murder. What kind of lousy drawing is that? It's a drawing made by Larry Butts. Him again. What can you prove with that poor attempt at artistry? That there was something outside the window? Larry made this drawing before he switched the lanterns. So it must have been right around when the murder was being committed. So if I could direct the court's attention here... Is that a pterodactyl? Does that mean that the airship actually went back to the... Is that Cretaceous period? No, I think he just mistook a bird for a pterodactyl. We've already proven that time travel is nothing more than a gimmick, did we not? We did, and I have no intention of bringing up that argument again. But this drawing shows us an important piece of information. It shows us that the airship was actually mud on the ground. And what makes you so sure? If it was flying, there wouldn't be something outside the window. That's easy. All you have to do is consider who made this drawing. Larry. That's right, it was Mr. Butts. We both know what he's like. He must have seen something else and mistaken it for a pterodactyl. I can't argue with you there. Oh. Hey, wait just one doggone second there. What kind of moron do you guys take me for? I saw it with my own eyes. A pterodactyl flew right by the window, I tell you. I have the sharp eyes of an artist. Don't you believe me? No. Nick. Nope. Some friends you guys are. What about the judge? You believe me, right, Your Honor? I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you need to leave this courtroom. Bailiff, if you would. Come on, buddy, let's go. Why doesn't anybody believe me? Poor Larry. Don't take it personally, Larry. I know you're just being, well, you. Now then, so you're saying what Mr. Butts really saw bears some relation to what was outside the airship at the time of the murder? Yes, Your Honor. At least, I think it does. What the pterodactyl really is will prove the airship was anchored at the mooring dock. It better, anyway. If it doesn't, my whole argument is a bust. If you're that confident about it, then please go ahead and tell us what it really was. Yes, Your Honor. Oh! Think, Phoenix, what could that pterodactyl actually have been? The mat. It's the colour. It also looks like it's a shape like a bird.